It's a pleasure to have DTM Iram Rizvi with us today. DTM Iram Rizvi is a Toastmasters for 5 years, and she has proudly earned awards in 39 contests spanning across District 105, the Middle East, and Pakistan. She is she has got the various titles in these contests, like the best table topic and humorous contest. She was in the finalist for the year 2022-2023, and she scored the first runner-up for these positions both in international and evaluation speech categories. In recognition of her achievements, she was honored with Distinguished Toastmaster Award from District in 2022. When she joined Toastmasters in her early 4 months, she secured victories in table topic contests at both club and area levels in the Middle East. For 3 consecutive years of contesting, she emerged victorious in all contest segments, progressing through to the division level. We are pleased to have you here, DTM Iram, and we look forward to a training session which will help us do better evaluations. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Amir, and thank you everyone from Control Toastmasters Club to take out your valuable time for the session today, which is an education session specifically around evaluations. Now, I'm not going to keep this very interactive because we will have a Q&A in the end. However, I want to start with some audience engagement, and that would be to ask you, why do we need reviews? Anyone can unmute and start. Why do we need reviews?
To learn and improve for feedback.
To learn and improve for feedback. Anyone else? Why do we need reviews?
To make sure that our message has been conveyed in the proper sense and we are not being misunderstood.
Yes. Why do we need reviews? Why does an organization or anyone
to set goals and expectations?
Set goals.
Just trying out different.
To know how we performed and how bad or good were we.
How bad are we? This is one of the things that organizations look for, that how bad are we? We need to know why we are not being bought, who became upset with us. And one of the major reasons is that we take reviews to improve our product, to improve ourselves, to make difference in the quality of what we are giving. The biggest example is that when you go and watch a movie, have you noticed that the reviews are given by people who are not directors as professions, are not script writers, are not actors? They have nothing to do with movie industry, as in when the movie has been made, but they are the best reviewers because they are the people who are seeing and who are feeling the movie. Similar way, when you go to a restaurant, you are asked to give a review, but are you a professional cook? You aren't. You are the consumer. So you give reviews because you are the one who's using that product. You are the one who is actually getting affected by that product. This is why reviews are important. Today, we are talking about evaluations. Evaluations is same as reviews, getting feedbacks, getting to know that what could be better in our product. And this is why we are going to learn today what exactly evaluations are. So I'm going to start by some why, what, when, how of evaluations. And the most valuable aspect of being a Toastmaster or being a part of the Toastmaster fraternity is evaluation. If you try to recall your time when you were in school, when you were in university, or when you started your early jobs, how soon would you get an evaluation? Now, let me tell you my personal experience and people around me. We wouldn't get it soon. We would usually get it when our grades are bad, when we haven't performed our projects better, or when we are past a whole semester of not having great results. That's the time we would get the review. And most of the time, heart in heart, we would know somewhere that when I was doing this mistake in the class, I wish my teacher pointed out at that time. Or on your first job, before the month would end, or while you get in your first scrum meeting and you would get a feedback, at that time you would say that while I was doing this process, I wish someone told me on the way rather than once I finished the task and submitted. and there are errors, right? The best thing about Toastmasters is that you get the review at the same time in the same meeting. This is why evaluations are very important, are very vital, are the soul and backbone of Toastmasters meetings, that this is the only organization that where you do a performance as a leader or as a speaker of that club meeting, and you would get review instantly within that time frame. So we're going to go along right now that what exactly reviews are to us. Reviews are to us as if water is to trees. It is so important in Toastmasters. If you ever try to have a meeting with no evaluators or no flavors of evaluators, or just remove the general evaluation in itself, then it is not going to work and give you that kind of effective feedback. Let me see, there is a comment on my video. Is that the problem with everyone? We can see Ariam video focused. Okay, so can you focus on my video? That would be great. Thank you. And this is why evaluations are important, that if you remove them from the path of a club meeting, for example, you just want to have table topics, you just want to have speeches, you just want to do role playing. But if you don't have evaluations, there is no purpose of a Toastmasters meeting for falling under the path of becoming a better, improved communicator. And the whole idea of becoming a better communicator is by getting reviews and evaluations. So I'm going to say that what kind of evaluations do we give? What kind of evaluations do we give? So this is the first part I'm going to start with. We're going to hit 7 topics, and we are going to go 5 to 7 minutes over 5:30 to cover up the beginning time. So people really don't care how much you are guiding them or how much do you know. So people don't really care how much you know, but people would start caring once they know that you care for them. So what evaluations are? Evaluations are when you put yourself into the shoes of as if it's the whole room. How did you feel as a speaker or as a member speaker when you heard that speech? So when Toastmaster Farooq was giving the speech, I would say that me as Toastmaster Iram, how did I feel when he was delivering that speech? What was my feeling? The whole idea of evaluation is I. It's actually I. We would avoid to say that we felt you were not connected. We felt you were not actually having an eye contact. We felt your topic was not related. There might be one person in that room at least who might be having a similar story as Toastmaster Farooq. So we should never use the word we. Evaluations are always I. They are always I, and they always give a feedback around how me, myself, I felt as a member speaker while listening to that speech. Secondly, it has to be constructive. It has to be motivating. It has to be encouraging. There's a very thin line between these words and whitewashing. So you know someone has been giving speeches for a couple of times, so you have that idea. But again, that person has done the similar thing that he has done in the first few meetings. So don't go ahead saying, what a brilliant meeting it was today. What a brilliant speech you have done. We all got touched. I was flabbergasted. Don't do that. That's whitewashing. The audience is going to lose you as a credible speaker, as a credible evaluator, if you're going to do a lot of whitewashing. One of the places where we do talk about many good points is the first speech of the speaker. And the reason is that it takes a lot of courage for a person to come on the stage and deliver their very first speech. You have not done a speech probably in your school times. You have not done a speech probably in your university and similarly at your work. And having a room full of people who are staring you in your eye while you're giving speech and watching you from top to bottom is something very difficult to do, to gather up courage to do. This is why only in icebreakers, the evaluators are advised that, try to just focus on the points which are good more compared to the recommendations. So we usually go for 3 great points that we really liked, and we will go for 1 or maximum 2 points that we can say that we can advise for recommendations. But that's just for icebreakers. And in icebreakers, we really lift up the person. We really make the person feel great about them coming on the stage. Always remember, when you're evaluating somebody's speech, why we talk about motivation, encouragement, you have the heart of the speaker in your hand. And let me tell you, whatever you do, this is a volunteering organizations, right? Toastmasters is completely voluntary. When you come into the meeting, what role you took, it cannot be forced upon you in your job description KPI. So you would take the roles as per you feel comfortable. If someone has broken your heart by taking the role of evaluator and completely shred it, that, what was this speech? There was no content in it. There was no matter in it. I didn't even feel connected. You were not even having an eye contact. You would not come back to that room again. And even if you do, you will avoid taking roles because deep inside, your heart is broken as a speaker. And of course, we have our largest critic. Our largest and biggest critic is the person who I see in the mirror. And I have that person enough to tell me each and every day that, come on, this is not your cup of tea. Public speaking is not made for you. What's wrong with you? Who is going to be interested in your content? This speech is too cliche. It has got nothing new in it. So you already have the biggest critic in front of you. So being an evaluator is your responsibility to buck up the speaker where they are good. Don't whitewash. Don't say the things what speaker has not done well as if he has hit the stars. So this is what we need to avoid. And we have to make sure that we are motivating and encouraging in the right place. Next is that, of course, when you speak as an evaluator, it should feel that you're speaking from your heart. It has to feel sincere. So you have your own style as a speaker once you're an evaluator, and whatever you talk should feel as if you mean it. If you are going to say words that you don't mean it without expressions, and I'm not saying fake expressions, when you share things from your heart, expressions come along. So you should feel the speaker's speech, and you should feel that whatever you're saying, you felt it with the speaker. Trust me, audience feels it when you're faking it. People know you. This is your organization. They see how you work. So you really have to bring the content and your speech in such a way that once you're sharing a feedback, you mean that feedback. This was the number one, that what kind of evaluations we give. Number two, how to prepare for evaluations. Now I'm going to go quickly around with this. When you prepare for evaluations, the number one thing that you look for in a speech is the content. Was the speech humorous? Was it engaging? Did it have a story? How did it impact? Was there a message? This is the basic thing that you look for in a speech. Number one is the content. Number two that you look for is body language. How was the body language? Now, there are a lot of things that come in it. Number one, we focus on voice. Was the voice monotone? Did the voice have variety? For example, one of the speeches where Toastmaster Khizar might be saying that when I was getting ready, my grandmother came up to me and said, Khizar, where are you going? And I said, Mom, I'm just running off to university. Grandma, I'm just running off to university. So he could use. So when I came out of the room, my grandma was standing right there. And she said, Khizar, where are you going? Grandma, I'm just running off to university. That small pause, the question that comes up, and imagining how your nani actually is, and putting it up at that time on the stage, connects with everyone with their nanis. It really connects everyone, that everyone will remember the sound of their nanis. This is why vocal varieties are important. The common grounds that we have, father, mother, baby, child, cat, dog, the things that we know, try to bring in a little vocal variety with a little pressure on your throat, just a little pressure, and you really could bring up lots of things. Then, of course, we have body posture. You cannot be standing with your shoulders down or one side up like Shah Rukh Khan, or no, sorry, like Sanjay Dutt, and say that I am confident. That doesn't suit well. For confident, you need to have your shoulders up, your chest out, your arms open, and I'm confident in what I'm doing today. Your voice, your shoulder, your posture goes along with those statements. You also make sure that how was the movement of the speaker. Did the movement was with the reason, or was the speaker just strolling around? We all have a sight of looking for nervousness. We can easily see as human beings. When somebody is just strolling on the stage like this and sharing something, we know that that person is using the nervousness energy on his legs. So we are actually letting it out through the legs. Or if someone is swinging front and back or right and left, this is also a way of letting go of your energy of nervousness through a swing. Only the person who stands on both the feet with the control, you can see clearly there is a confidence. So see how the movement was. Eye contact is important. That is the eye contact with the audience, or is the eye contact over the roof or on the ground? Again, these are the points to notice when you're talking about body language. Facial expressions. I remember a speaker yesterday was talking about some hardships and was smiling. And I told him that, when you are talking about hardships, stop smiling. I Toastmaster Abdul Basit. And then while you're talking about the good part, bring up a smile. So facial expressions give an advance indication of something that's about to happen. So having a bit of control on it. A bit of a personal story, that when I used to do my humorous speech, and this year I'm the humorous speech champion of district, but when I first did my humorous speech, before giving the punchline, I would laugh. And my mentor, Toastmaster Debjeet from India, he used to say that you love yourself, you love your jokes, but this is not how you do from the stage. You need to wait for the punchline and then wait for the audience to laugh, and you can smile along. But before giving the punchline, I would start laughing because I love my jokes and they're more of daddy jokes. So this was a tip that, bring your expressions where required. And we all need a lot of practice to do that. And as an evaluator, look for those expressions. Hand gestures are important. Keeping them completely in your pocket, or keeping them on your tummy, or folding your hand. I've seen a speech with hands folded. And that was a great start for someone who was very defensive on stage. But still, that is a point that you can look for. And of course, as I mentioned, the smile. So these are few things you will look for in body language. The third thing you would look in how to prepare for is, of course, the vocal variety, which I've already shared. And in vocal variety, one of the things you look for is volume. Now, it's really recommended that if your room has anything more than 12 people, please have a mic system. Have a nice mic system so that the speaker can go low where it is required, where it's the need of the speech, and the speaker can go high, that I am flying today and I could feel my sky jump. So let the speaker feel that by going low and high. Have a mic system there, and you as an evaluator are going to look for these cues once you're evaluating. So we're talking about content, we're talking about body language, we're talking about vocal variety, and something very special, which I've got from my experience, is speaker's attribute. This is something that you look for if the speaker has done something different. I would recommend you look for public speaking champions videos on YouTube. And you're going to, some of you might have seen DJ Dhananjana's video of I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. The way he threw the rose off the stage was with so much of confidence. Toastmaster Kahtani, another world champion, the way he took the cigarette in hand and tapped it, it was full of confidence. The way a speaker enters the stage and gives a handshake, or the speaker waits for the TMOD, shakes hands and leave, or the speaker tries to take the grasp of the center of the stage and shows confidence. These are the special speaker attributes that you have to look for as a speaker, and keep an eye for it, because this is his superpower, that something that the speaker is trying to develop in terms of confidence and style. Talk about it. You have to note down these things too. Now let me get to the third point after how and where. Is that how, where, when, and how? Is that where do we give evaluation? So we give evaluations where we find good points, where there are good story, if there was a great vocal variety, if there was a beautiful message. And then I would want, and then you give your evaluation where you see points of recommendation. And these things you do by sharing the exact part of the speech where you felt it. For example, in Toastmaster Amir Latif's speech, I felt great when he spoke about dreams. I was flying with it. When he spoke about his dream, I actually felt that I was dreaming in the same way. And I loved the part where he showed by drawing off his hands that he was flying. So share the part you liked instead of saying, I love the way how Toastmaster Amar shared that how he was flying in this, that he was flying in the speech. That's it. But share the part where you exactly felt. Similarly, in the speech, if the humor was missing, share the part where the humor could have come. As an evaluator, you have to give examples of exactly the point which you liked and exactly the point that you would recommend. I would bring again the same point of Toastmaster Khizr when I said that when he said that to his grandmother that he's leaving for university, I, as an evaluator, I have to say, I love the part he came running to his grandmother. And when the grandmother said, where are you going, Khizr? I have to imitate what did Toastmaster Khizr do right at that place. In case he hasn't, then at the part of recommendation, I'm going to say that I recommend Toastmaster Khizr that he could bring a vocal variety when his grandma came to the picture. For example, where are you going, Khizr? So bring that either in recommendation or bring that in the commendable part. But you have to show as an evaluator that these are the things I recommend, these are the things that are great. Because if you're just going to say wonderful message, wonderful speech, wonderful pauses, where were the pauses? Where is that place where pause made an effect on you? Share that area where the pause made a difference. And if you're trying to say that I wish you brought a pause after that moment, then say where exactly do you mean to bring the pause? So you have to give examples. When you see that these are the areas where things are missing or the things are there which you really like, bring it up in that area. Now, next is what do you evaluate? What do we evaluate? We do not evaluate the speaker. We evaluate the speech. Whatever this person might have done before, he or she might be president of your club. He or she might be area director. This person might be an amazing leader in the district. This person might be someone who is even a regional advisor. This person might be at any position. But that should not affect your evaluation of that day because you are not evaluating the person. You are going to evaluate the speech. So there is a very high chance that a very good leader might not have given a very good speech that day. And to say the statements like, I have noticed your speeches from last few meetings and I have seen today you have done better. No, we don't do that. Neither we say that I have seen you as a great speaker in a lot of meetings, but today I felt the spark was missing. No, we don't do that. The same day when the speech is given, we focus on the speech. How did the speech do today without giving any historical references? We read the objectives. What are the objectives for that day's speech and how much of an area that person has affected or taken action around their objectives? That's it. We do not give any past references. There is a very high chance that they might be a district champion or a region champion among you doing a project which is dry. A project I remember I did once was on social media presence. It was my first project where I felt bored while making the slides. The project was amazing. I enjoyed doing it. It took me 3 months to complete. But when I was presenting the report, there wasn't much. There wasn't enough humor. There wasn't anything that I could create because the project was to share my experience and report around that. So I cannot make a story out of it and get somebody killed or some motivation. I can't do that. So I have to go with the project. My achievement of that day was that I hit objectives of that project. And that should be my achievement. So you as a speaker or you as an evaluator, you will be looking for that particular person at that day is actually hitting the project objectives. Is how is he performing as a speaker? That is what is important rather than what that person's history has been. Now, where to start the evaluation speech? Now, till now I was talking to you as an evaluator looking at the speech. From this point, I'm going to talk to you about how you would behave as an evaluator. So what is your speech? So remember that an evaluation is a speech An evaluation is not a report. It's not an R-counter report, not a grammarian report, even though they are beautiful speeches. But yours is a proper 3.5 minute speech, which should have a proper opening, a body, a closing. You cannot go on like a report. This is what I like. 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 This could be better. This could be better. This is the summary over. No. Evaluation speech is always a proper speech with proper body content, because it trains us that if we have to utilize a time in our organization or in a university, and specifically here in Contour, if you want to give someone a feedback is not just a report. You always have to speak for 1 minute or 1.5 or 2 or 3 minutes with that particular person in a constructive way so that it makes an effect. So how do we do it? You, as an evaluator, would start with an opening, which is connecting to the speech. I'm going to share a personal story. My video is online. So there was Toastmaster Farhan Qazi, who did a level 2 project about types of leaders. And he wore a jogging track suit, and he was jogging in the middle of the speech, where he jogged and he found a person out of the water drowning. And that part, I picked it up in my evaluation. And when they said Iram Rizvi evaluation, Iram Rizvi evaluation, at that time I jogged on the stage till the middle point and I stopped. Half of the audience thought I'm going to fall because the stage ended and I was just on the break of it. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring something from the speech that happened, connect with myself, come over there and imagine. And when I came running on that spot, I of course had a breath and I said, here we are evaluating today the speech of leadership styles of Toastmaster Farhan Qazi. So that brought a good energy and a good way of starting up a meeting. This is something that you need to do in your opening. In your body, you need to bring the part that you felt. How did you feel about that speech? Did it make you sad? What did it make you feel? What was your incident that hit you? For example, if you're talking about, or similarly, there was another speech where when this lady spoke about the places she traveled, she used a bag with her. And before I went to the stage, I took the same bag from her and I gathered my bag and I said, I have my recommendations and commendations in this bag, which was traveling along with the speaker to Paris. And I brought in those things, that how I felt about my trip when I had my first very trip on my own. So bring your experience as close as possible to the speaker to share how you felt about it. And what did you love in his speech? You loved the part that there was a storytelling, and you loved the part that you were drawn in that story. You loved the fact that he had pauses. You loved the fact that there was vocal variety and characters. So you could see those people in your mind when the speaker was talking. You would recommend 2 things in the body. So there has to be 1 or 2 points that you give to him as a gift, as an evaluator, that these are the 2 things I would request you to work on, and tell him an example that where could he bring this 1 or 2 things. So that becomes more sandwich kind of a thing, that you start with how you felt and what did you love in that speech. How did you feel around it? Talk about the points that were great. Talk about 2 points that could be better, 2 or 1. Your recommendations always have to be 1 point lesser than the commendable. So 1 or 2 points that you would recommend, and then close by summarizing that these are the points that I love. These are the points you can work on. Thank you for making me touch my childhood today. I really felt alive. Looking forward for more speeches, and close it. So do a summary of how you felt and the good points and the points that could be better, and then close it up. Remember, you're holding the heart of the speaker. So be careful that you always keep a sandwich approach. You have to start with something great. You have to end with a great statement. In the middle somewhere, there are recommendations which have to be given with actual practical examples. When you're talking about this, there are some examples that I wrote up over here, which was around a speech. And one of them is that once there was a speech around dreams. The girl, she was talking about dreams and her dreams and goals. And how I would start my evaluation is by saying that dreams aren't the ones that give you great sleep at night. Dreams are the ones that keep you up all night. I could either bring this in the beginning, and in the end, again, I would try to bring somewhere around dreams. So dear Toastmaster, keep dreaming and keep achieving. Just bring that dream again in the end. So try having those speeches clubbed up the sandwich way in a way that once you leave, it's again positive. Once you started, it was positive. So this is all that I could try in 30 minutes. And I would now like to open the floor for any questions that you all might be noticing. Evaluation in itself is huge. We have club series on how to evaluate on Toastmasters website. We have lots of videos. One of my inspiration is DTM Deepak Sharma, DTM Shakil Chaudhary, DTM Nelson Mendez, and DTM Amjad Ali and DTM Rania. These are the people who are masters of evaluations, and I have taken a lot of things from them in my journey and many more. And moreover, it's DTM Mazhar Jamil Marhoom, who taught me, and he was the first person after whom I never got disqualified as an evaluator. Otherwise, I have a journey of disqualifications. So if there is any question, Toastmaster Amir, if you can help by checking in the chat, and if there is someone who wants to unmute and ask, it would take just 7 more minutes to answer them. Okay, did I lose people?
No, okay. So I'm not sure if Amir is here or he's probably here, but let me just take it up. So we have a question.
Hello, Toastmaster Yumna.
Yes, hello, Iram. So we have a question from Madiha. Madiha, please unmute yourself.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum everyone.
Walaikum
So
salam.
just a question and most it's like a suggestion. So what I felt that I think whenever he or she is evaluating any person, so I think for one speech there should be a one evaluator. Because what I felt that if any person is evaluating two speeches at a time, so maybe it would be difficult for him or her to just memorize all the good and the bad points during the
Yes.
speech. So I
Yes.
think it would be easy for a person, and I mean for both, for the speaker and for the evaluator as well.
Great.
So it's
Can
just a
I,
suggestion if we can.
so you're Toastmaster Madiha, right? So Toastmaster
Yes.
Madiha, by books, you cannot evaluate two speeches. By
Yeah.
books and by rule book, one evaluator evaluates one speech. You have actually given the answer yourself that you do not get the flavor, you do not learn,
Hmm.
because one person has a style of evaluation and the things that he or she is looking for, and he would do the same thing to the next speech. So it's a waste of a speaker's time that you have the same evaluator. If you have practiced this in your club, try not doing it again, because by books, this is not what is the analogy of Toastmasters club meeting. Each evaluator has to be different and each speaker has to be different. So one speaker cannot do two speeches. This is
Yeah.
also the rules. And one
Yes.
evaluator cannot do two evaluations. However, a speaker can be an evaluator for the third speaker in case if there are shortage of evaluators, in case
All
if there is a
right.
shortage, but they cannot be two speeches, one evaluator. So thank you for bringing this. If you're trying that out, it's against the analogy of Toastmasters Club. There's a question
All
from
right.
Toastmaster Vakas.
Vikas, yes.
Assalamu alaikum, DTM Iram.
Walaikum
Thank you.
assalam.
Thank you so much for taking the time. An absolutely wonderful session. Very much needed. We are learning a lot. We are working on our skills of giving feedback. There's just one question that I would like for you to press on, if possible. What would be the absolute no-go area when evaluating or giving feedback? I know you've mentioned the do's and don'ts, but what would be the absolute no-go area where we should not, think about or state when we're giving evaluations or feedbacks?
Okay, what I've learned with my experience is a personal taunt. And unfortunately, I have seen that. You know the people, because the thing with contour is that you know each other. You know each other so well that your colleagues, you're even friends. So there is a very high chance that I might say that Toastmaster Vakas, this was great, but what's wrong with you, dude? Is this how you do a speech? I've seen you doing better. Now, this is me being very nice, but I had an experience of someone who was new, who didn't know exactly how to do, and I saw how that evaluation was brutal. Because once you spend a lot of time and you've been to so many districts and you've been to so many clubs, you do see things. And then I've learned that that is a no-go. No personal taunts, no work-related taunts, no personal comment that I know you as a person, you can't do that. But anyways, you have said it in the speech, so let's buy it. You can also do that because you're friends, right? And we usually cross our lines when we are friends, especially if we are evening chai and dinner friends, we usually do that. So avoid that. Once somebody's on, there is a reason why we call each other Toastmaster. So I have friends who are my friends in real life, but when they're in a club, I call them Toastmaster Farouk, I call them Toastmaster Waqas, Toastmaster Khizar, Toastmaster Abdul Wahid, because when they enter that room for a club, I'm getting trained for respect, integrity, service, and excellence, the four parts of a Toastmaster. So once I do that, I have to forget that they are my friend and I have to take them as the value of a Toastmaster member whom I have to respect come what may. So I hope that has answered your question. Great. Is there any other question? Toastmaster Shakil Khwaja, good to see you here. A question coming from you. You have to unmute yourself.
I learn a lot from you, DTM Miram. My question is that regarding giving a challenge at the end of evaluation, what it should be, because I have also coordinated with DTM Cynthia Stott as well. You know her very well. That she says that areas to improve and challenge should be different. So what's your take on giving a challenge? How is it different from the areas to improve?
Okay, so once you get the, thank you for the question, Toastmaster Shakil. So once you all are starting your evaluation journey, you're going to see an evaluation resource form. You can download one now, the icebreaker evaluation form. You will see there are two areas. One is what was the speaker good at? That is one part. But in recommendation, what the speaker could be better at, and there is one more which is called challenge. So usually the things that you say from the stage should be in the recommendation part. Challenge should be the next step. Challenge is usually taking the speaker to the next level. So asking him to go slightly out of the comfort zone which you saw in his first speech or in any speech. So there is something you felt that this person was not moving at all. Okay, so you could ask that challenge, you can write that next time I challenge you that if you could try using all the three parts of the stage or avoid your hand. So try taking one level up. So I know you would have a lot of recommendations in your hand when you see a speech. So out of those recommendations, see what could be difficult for the speaker to do. Put that in challenge and put the recommendations in the recommend part. I hope I've answered your question, Toastmaster Shakil. And we have.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Toastmaster Yumna, can you help if there are any more questions?
Yeah, no, we don't have any more questions, but yeah, Shakil's hands is still up, so I'm assuming that's answered. It's gone now. Yeah, that's all in terms of the questions, but just wanted to share about my comment. One thing I really liked in the sessions and the points that you shared was we don't evaluate the person, we evaluate the speech. And I think that sums up a lot of things for all of us because we see and then the part where we are friends, we know each other, the human biases, and the rest of the things. The rest, what remains is the speech. And of course, to evaluate the speech, the content, and all those things you mentioned are relevant. So yeah, I love that part.
Thank you
Anyone
very
else
much.
has any
Toastmaster
comments? So
Yumna.
please feel free, or we can take it towards the conclusion.
Yes, I would love to conclude if there are no questions because I've taken 5 minutes over. So if it all is good, just give a nice hi and drop out. And if this Toastmaster Ahmed is back, is he
Yes,
around?
I'm always around here.
Okay.
So let's all switch on our cameras and have a group photo for this session. And thank you, DTM Miram, for such an amazing session. I believe our members would have gained a lot of information, and we're going to have some great evaluators coming from contour clubs.
Thank you. And one tip for all of you, any question related to evaluation, I'm just a message away. Drop in the line to Toastmaster Yumna. You can drop into Toastmaster Amir Javed or Toastmaster Hira. They're the ones whom I'm usually closely in touch with, especially Toastmaster Yumna around education. So drop in a line to them. Any question which you feel while you're performing your next role, please drop me a line and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you. And a group photo with thumbs up.